Just going to go live now. Okay, so welcome everybody to the Countryside and Environmental Management live Q&A. I'm Alex, I'm the marketing manager here at Brooksby Melton College, and I'm joined today by Jeff and Alex, who are going to talk to you about the course. So please send your questions in the comment box and we will get them answered for you. So Jeff, please could you give us a bit of an overview about the course? We'll start with the level 2, please.
Sure. So the level 2 countryside management course is an introductory course for getting into the countryside, land, wildlife management sector. It would be suitable for people coming out of school, or equally those who are a bit more experienced, with GCSE grades in the sort of C and D range. It includes 6 modules of study over a period of 1 year, and includes subjects such as practical estate skills and estate maintenance, introduction to the management of game species in the UK, the improvement of British habitats, and a range of sort of work experience opportunities as well. So really an introductory course allowing you then to enter the industry in sort of junior and entry level jobs, or to progress on to our level 3 countryside management programme.
Lovely, thank you. And now I'm just going to put Alex live. Alex, would you mind talking about the level 3, please? Just give us a brief overview.
Yeah, so countryside environmental management level 3. It's a step up from the level 2, obviously, but it has it's a very broad focus. So we look at all kinds of things. It gears you up to a very wide range of careers. So the purpose of the course really is to expose you to all elements of countryside environmental management, and through it, hopefully you'll find something that will become your passion and you can pursue that for your career. So we've got lots of things on offer. So woodland management, tree identification, identification of wild plants. We do an awful lot of ecology, surveying wild animals and plants. We go out catching a lot of wild critters. We do reptile surveys, so snakes and lizards, that sort of thing. We're doing breeding bird surveys. We've got some specialists coming in to teach bird ringing, that sort of thing. And that really gears you up for work in a lot of really rewarding careers. So ecology and environmental science is a particularly good line of work to get into if you like to be outdoors. But also you might be a bit more practical, and the course is also really well suited if you want to study, if you want to become a tree surgeon or work in forestry, or if you want to become a landscaper. You'll learn a lot of transferable skills as well. And it is the kind of course that you could either do it, finish it and go into work, or it would prepare you very nicely to go on to pursue higher education if you wanted to.
Lovely, thank you. And this is probably a good one for you to answer as well then, Alex. What GCSEs do I need to do the level 3?
I believe it's 4 at grade. Oh, it's new grades now, isn't it? Is it grade 4? Jeff, can you help me out on that? I can't remember what the new...
It's 5 at grade 4.
5 at grade 4, that was it. 5 at grade 4, ideally with 2 of those being maths and English at grade 4. Do you learn about eco-friendly stuff? Absolutely. So you will learn about eco-friendly stuff, but you'll basically learn how humans can use the environment without destroying it. So it's not just a case of let's just not go outside and touch anything because we might hurt it. We're going to go outside and you'll learn how to interact with the environment in a way which doesn't damage it. How to we've got a whole unit on environmentally sustainable sort of farming, which is called environmental managing agricultural environments. Woodland management, that whole unit is all about sustainable woodland management, and ecology. You're studying how to monitor habitats. So you need to be able to go out and count bats and lizards and frogs and what have you, so that you can measure if the habitat is improving or getting worse. Okay, so it's all geared up towards sustainability and environmental sustainability, basically. So yes.
Lovely. I'd just like to add as well, it's something as a college that we take really seriously, being eco-friendly and working that into the curriculum. So as the years develop, it's something that you'll see more and more throughout our curriculum and throughout the college as a whole. So if that's something you're interested in, yeah, please apply and join us. Jeff, perhaps you could answer this next one, please. What uniform or kit do I need?
Mainly sensible outdoor clothing. You'll be outside in all sorts of weathers, doing practical activities, so a decent set of waterproofs, boots will be essential, and clothes that you don't mind getting a bit grubby. There are also some requirements for personal protective equipment for practical, so a set of overalls and steel toe cap boots or Wellingtons or something like that will be essential as well before you go out and participate in any of the practical activities, especially if they're involving machinery. There's a land-based machinery module that you do. You'll need some PPE that we'd ask you to provide. But other than that, it is really just sensible outdoor clothes that will keep you warm and keep you dry.
Lovely, and that's something that the students have to provide themselves, isn't it?
For the most part, yeah, but very specialist PPE we can provide. So if you're doing work with chainsaws, we have a stock of chainsaw trousers, chainsaw Wellingtons, helmets, gloves, etc. If you're going to move into that in a big way in terms of your career, then you'll need to invest in that eventually yourselves. But with that, we do provide that PPE for people when they need it on a chainsaw course or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think an investment in some good boots, steel cap boots, is required anyway, isn't it, in your career? So
yeah. For sure.
We've got loads of questions coming in, so I'm going to put this one to you as well, because your background definitely shows that you are interested in this. Do we do anything with deers?
So there is a deer management unit that's delivered as part of the countryside management course. Deer are a huge issue in the UK. We've got 6 different species of deer living wild in the UK, which impact on the various habitats that you'll learn about, positively and negatively. Unfortunately, they have quite a lot of impact on the environment. So we will learn about deer. It will focus on the wild deer of the British Isles, the unit that you study, and how to manage them. So yeah, there will be some involvement there. Okay,
and then you'll have to tell me about this one because I don't know what this is, but do we deal with soay sheep? It's spelled SOAY.
I'll cover that one. Yeah, on the there's the conservation grazing unit. That unit focuses on how we can use animals to manage habitats. So it does include soay sheep. It's not just soay sheep. We look at all sorts of things. So we look at using pigs as part of woodland management, for example. You can use cattle, you can use horses in conservation grazing. It's basically a technique to try and recreate lost ecosystems using the animals that we still have today. So basically, many years ago, we used to have wild horses, wild cattle, wild boar, all those sorts of things. And conservation grazing is basically a technique for using farm animals to recreate lost ecosystems, basically.
Lovely. Well, I am certainly learning a lot today as well. So another good one for you actually to answer. Can you go on to do a degree after level 3? And if so, which sort of degrees?
Okay, you absolutely definitely can. And you could go into various different fields. The major ones would be ecology. But you could do a degree in ecology, which is basically monitoring populations of wild animals and the study of ecosystems, basically. Or you could go on to do environmental science. So you could work for places like the Environment Agency, monitoring water pollution, that sort of thing. Some people might go on to become arborists. So arborists are basically like doctors for a tree. They'll go up to a tree and they'll tell you if it's hollow, if it's dangerous, if it's got a disease, all sorts of things. A very well paid job, by the way, if you can get into high level arboricultural surveying. And there is a big demand. And the other area, which if you're a betting person, would be a good idea to go into, is regenerative agriculture and sustainable agriculture. And countryside management would be a really good starting point if you wanted to get into regenerative agriculture, because you're learning a lot of principles that you'll carry forward. So it's a really good thing also, even if you wanted to go and study agriculture.
Okay, well, that leads me on to another question quite nicely. Do you get to work on the farm?
Yeah, we do. So the way I like to describe it is all of the areas where we're not producing a crop, countryside management students tend to do the work. So the hedges, the fences, the rivers, the ponds, the trees, all of those areas we manage directly. So we are directly involved with the farm. We do get involved with the livestock to an extent, but we're generally a bit more focused on wild animals and wildlife. We do go on various visits to different farms, not just our own. I know we go on a visit to a bison farm nearby, where we learn about alternative forms of agriculture. Also, we do a lot of work at a local fish farm, which is really interesting, which is managed by the Environment Agency. So yes, we are involved at the farm at Brooksby, but also beyond as well.
Lovely. That takes me on to another question. Will we get to go on trips?
Yes. Yeah, you will probably do, I would say, about one trip every 2 weeks, maybe more. So most of these trips, however, are just half a day or maybe a day. There are ambitions to go further afield. We were planning to go to the Knepp estate down in Sussex this year for several days, but COVID happened. But so we would like to do a longer term, possibly residential trip as well. But yes, we go on regular field visits, mainly because on this course you need to visit so many different habitats. We don't have all those habitats on site, so field trips are essential.
Lovely, thank you. Jeff, I'll put the next one to you.
Okay.
How many days a week are we in college, and how many on work experience?
So the timetable will typically be spread over 3 days at sort of physically at college. Although with social distancing in place in September, there may be some sort of fluctuation to that, but typically 3 days at college. And then over the course of the year, you would be expected to get 300 and 460 odd hours of work experience fitted in around those studies as well. So you have a day or two a week then within the working week to get some work experience hours together as well.
Lovely, thank you. Sorry, I put you on the spot a bit then. Just touching on what we were saying about the current situation with the coronavirus. It's something that we are reassessing every single day, and we will get updates out to you as soon as possible. Please keep an eye on the website and social media, because that's the first place that we publish anything. At the moment, it's looking like we're going to have a blended approach to our curriculum next year. So that will be partly theory done at home and then practical sessions in college as well. But we are just trying to work out timetables and work out how many students we're allowed to have on campus at any one time. But like I say, that will be updated as soon as we can. So another one perhaps you can answer, Jeff. How much classroom work is there?
It depends a bit from module to module. Some of the subjects we study are very classroom based. Like we teach a bit about land-based business, particularly for students who might want to go on and be self-employed, arborists, tree surgeons, things like that, where a bit of knowledge about how businesses work is important. So modules like that are more classroom based. There are others that are 90% practical. The estate skills and estate maintenance unit, where we're out laying hedges, putting up fences, all that sort of thing, is mostly practical. and there are others that are sort of a 50-50 split. There's not a straight answer to how practical the whole course is, but there are certain bits that are very practical and certain that are very theory based. But yeah, depending on the time of year as well, you could spend all week outside, depending on practicals available.
And as Alex touched on, we've got an 850-acre estate at Brooksby, so there is always things that we can do to help with your work experience and things like that on our own estate. And if you follow us on social media, you'll see when we post things of what our students have been up to. Like Alex touched on, building fences around the farm and things like that. So that's great. We've got loads of questions coming in, so I'm just going to move on. I can help with this one. Could I stay on campus if I did this course? Do you have any accommodation? Yes, we do. We have fully catered accommodation on site at Brooksby. And if you are doing a land-based course such as countryside management, you might even be entitled to a bursary. So if that's something you would be interested in, please get in touch with us as soon as you can, because those beds are filling up quite fast. But if you think, oh, I can't afford that, or I live too far away to come to this college, there are lots of different options, so please get in touch. Let's have a look. Another one for you, Jeff. Can I do an apprenticeship in countryside management?
As of right this minute, we do not run an apprenticeship in countryside management. We do have an apprenticeship in forestry operations, which we're accepting applications for, and which we will be starting in sort of the early part of the next academic year. But that's the closest we come right now to an apprenticeship in countryside management.
Okay.
Agriculture and horticulture, though, we do offer and have offered for a while. So though, yeah, agriculture, horticulture, forest operations are available now. Countryside management isn't something we're running at this precise moment in time.
If you'd like to know more about our apprenticeships, you can send in an email again to that address that's plastered all over the virtual open day today. And our teams for agriculture and horticulture are available on email today, so they'll be able to help you with that. Another one, is there many practical work, or is it equally studies and practical? I think you've touched on this really, Jeff, but if you could just touch on that again, please.
There is a lot of practical work.
Yeah.
Yes, there is theory, but yeah, there's an awful lot of practical work. It is seasonal practical work, so there'll be some things that you end up doing a lot more of in winter, the woodland management and things like that. For example, a lot of the practical associated with that will take place in the winter, whereas your sort of ecological surveying and things like that will happen more in the spring and early summer months. So yes, a lot of practical.
Thank you. Have to let me know who's best to answer this one. How well do the programmes fit around the ACE rugby programme?
I can take that one. You will be busy. You will be busy. The commitment, obviously, to your course of study doesn't change whether you're doing ACE rugby. You still need to be able to prioritise your studies, and the training commitment and a commitment to, you know, fixtures and things like that is significant. You'll be very busy, but it will be rewarding if you choose to combine them.
If you'd like to speak to the guys from Leicester Tigers today and learn a bit more about how the timetables work and what's actually involved with that, again, please send us an email and we will forward that to our training guy called Speedo. He'll be able to help you with that. I've had a really great question, actually. Maybe Alex can help us with this one. Let's give Alex a turn. I'm in two minds to do ag or countryside management, as I like farming, but also like shooting or gamekeeping. I think I'd like to be a gamekeeper. Which course would help me achieve this?
If you wanted to be a gamekeeper, then the best course probably will be the level 2 countryside, because that's the most focused specifically on gamekeeping. But the good thing about the countryside level 3 is you're not closing any doors by doing it. So the good thing about countryside level 3 is you learn so much stuff that would help you whether you wanted to go into agriculture, gamekeeping, or estate management, or any of the above. it's a really good course to give you a really well-rounded understanding of all the options, and it's particularly suited to somebody who's not quite sure which way they want to go, because it's not too specialized. So you kind of get the option to go in lots of different directions. However, if you're certain you like, I absolutely definitely want to be a gamekeeper, then probably the level 2 countryside would be the most focused on that. But remember, the level 3 course has the deer management unit on it, and as Jeff mentions, the issues this country faces with deer are very understated. We don't have a lot of natural predators that we used to have, so things like wolves and bears are missing from our ecosystem. So that means that there are way more deer than is sustainable. So there is a demand for people who've got the skill to be able to manage them in a safe way. So
sounds like it's a good option to be a good career path. I can take this one. When do we have to apply for starting the course in September 21? We take applications from October this year to start in the following September. So yes, you can apply anytime from then. I'd recommend getting in your application before Easter, because then the courses do start to fill up and we get quite busy with interviews and things. But you can apply right up until the enrolment if there is a space available, but get it in sooner rather than later would be my advice. Another one for Alex, I think. Can we start a work placement this summer before we've started the course?
Okay, you can start it, but the hours won't count. So the college, in order for us to be safe and for all to count, what we need to do is we need to have you registered. We need to go and check that work placement is safe, and we need to, and only from September can we start logging the hours. However, you know, if you want to gain some work experience for your own benefit and to make you a more well-rounded person, then I would definitely encourage it. But I must make absolutely clear those hours will not count towards the qualification, at least until the site's been checked by the college, and we're after September, the start of the course.
Yeah, once you officially enroll.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeff's already touched on this, but Alex, perhaps you can add to it. Is there much coursework involved?
There is a change. So this year is that some of the units are actually assessed by an exam. So I know the plant and soil science unit is an exam, so there's no coursework for that as such. But there is still coursework for a lot of the other units, and that's generally based on, it might be an essay, it might be creating a visual display to explain a point. It could be creating a video, documentary to explain a concept that we've learned. And sometimes it's practical things. I will literally assess you doing practical tasks. So it could be you're felling a tree. I will make sure that you're handling the chainsaw safely and you're cutting the tree down in the right way. So a lot of the assessments are practical assessments as well. So it's very, very broad, actually, the way we assess. We do everything from practical to coursework, and now exams as well. So it's kind of everything going.
Okay, that sort of brings me on nicely to, are you able to tell us a bit about the short courses that you can do alongside the main aim?
Yeah, now the short courses are really, really important in our sector specifically, and a lot of employers won't take you on without some of the tickets that you get. So for example, we do the chainsaw courses. That's CS30 and CS31. That's basically the maintenance, care, safe use of chainsaws, as well as felling small trees safely. So those two short courses are very, very useful. And that doesn't matter if you want to be a tree surgeon or if you want to work in conservation. Conservationists quite often use chainsaws to do things like coppicing, hedge laying, what have you. So chainsaw courses is one thing we do. We also offer courses in PA1 and PA6. So PA1 is safe use of pesticides. PA6 is using those pesticides to apply with a knapsack sprayer. sometimes you use those things to control invasive plants like Japanese knotweed and similar things like that. So it's quite useful for conservation. It's also really, really useful if you want to become a landscaper. So both of those sets of qualifications are really valuable. If we have enough interest, we can also put on short courses in the safe use of wood chippers. And we have looked at courses in felling medium and large trees. But those second ones will depend on having enough interest from students.
Okay, and somebody's asked, can we get a chainsaw license on this course? Is that what you would achieve from the chainsaw short course?
Generally, the chainsaw short course, yeah, is a separate qualification, so it's not part of the countryside management course that we deliver. But you do cover a lot of the practical. You basically get a lot of your practice as part of the course. So practicing with a chainsaw, maintaining it, using it, etc. You'll do all that on the course. But in order to get the CS30 qualification, you have to do the separate training.
Okay, thank you. We've only got a few minutes left and we've got lots of questions coming in. So can work placement be done over weekends and holidays? Who'd like to answer that?
I can take that one.
Okay, there we go.
Like Alex said, we can't count your hours before the start of the term. But if, say, during the half term or the Easter holidays, you were doing a bit of extended work experience or at weekends, that can count.
Okay, thank you.
After we've done all the health and safety checks and, you know, make sure you're safe at work.
Lovely. A couple of questions coming in that we've touched on, so I'll just briefly go over the answers for that. Can I go to uni from level 3? Yes, absolutely. Level 3 is the equivalent of 3 A levels. So an extended diploma, a level 3 extended diploma is the equivalent of 3 A levels, I should say. So yes, I would have a look at the universities that you're interested in and see what sort of qualifications they want you to have. But yes, that's what our college courses can enable you to do that. The other question we've had in is, can I live in? Yes, you can. We have accommodation on our site at Brooksby. It's fully catered Monday to Friday. And if you're doing a land-based course like countryside management, you can actually apply for a bursary as well. It's dependent on your income and some other factors, but that's an option for you too. One more question that's come in. This might have to be the last one. Let's have a look. I am 25. Am I too old to study countryside management at Brooksby? No.
Absolutely not. Never too old to study countryside management. The funding is slightly different. You might have to use sort of an advanced learner loan or something like that. But yeah, you absolutely can study countryside management at Brooksby. And
we often have older students. We often have older students, so you would be alone.
Lovely. I think if you're interested in how an adult learner or advanced learner loan works, please get in touch and we can put you in touch with our finance team. They'll be able to explain that. That is what a lot of adult learners do. It's not uncommon for people to do that. So yes, and also the other thing I'd like to add is, because we're such a small college in comparison to some people around us, it doesn't matter what age or your background at all. Each student is really treated individually and part of our family, as cheesy as that is. So yes, please don't be put off by your age. It's not a barrier at all. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up there. Thank you, Alex and Jeff, for your time today. I think that's been very informative, and the questions we've had in have been really good. So thank you to everyone who's commented as well. Please, you can apply online today. Our applications team are processing them as we speak, so if you get that in, you might get a reply by early next week. You can find the apply links all over the website as well. And if you have any more questions for Alex and Jeff, please send them in and we'll get them over to them as well. Okay, thank you very much. Goodbye.